Hello, check, check. OMG. Holy crap. Batman. There we go. Let's see. Is that good? Why is it like reinventing the wheel every single day? I mean, I know that my set is a little more complicated than most, but still. Today is quite the day, you guys. I'm going to give you a minute to get here. What did I do with my eyeglasses cleaners that I just grabbed? What the F? I just grabbed a handful. There they are. Okay. So, for anybody who doesn't know, some senator almost got himself arrested because he was being all rowdy and disrespectful. And yeah, the law enforcement had to like throw him to the ground and get rough with him. Yeah. So what if he's a senator? Just because he said that he was a senator and introduced himself by name right at the very beginning of the interaction, it doesn't mean that they were listening to what he said. So it's his fault for them not hearing him. OMG. I'm hoping that Kristi Noem is going to get her little booty canned, but who knows? I mean, I always see this stuff as a, sort of like a blessing in disguise. It's like things have to get worse before they can get better. And our government is just so crazy. So let's complain about the government, right? Let's see. Still no one here, so I'm just going to adjust things. Get myself all comfy in my big comfy chair. I've told you guys I like my other chair because I like to sit up more straight. This is nice because I can kick back when I'm not feeling so good. But man, I feel like I'm just going to slide right out of the effing chair. My God. So yeah, the slouching doesn't really work for me when I'm trying to like be on top of things to say hi. Ara, oh my God, girl, I love you. How's your day? Oh my God, girl. So I've been kind of sick because of allergies, and it just like set off this whole like wildfire in my system and in my digestion. It's been hell. And then today, you know what happened, right? With the California senator. Oh my God. Like, I just can't. But like I said, it's, the flip side of it is that as things get a lot worse and it's more apparent to more people how bad it is, like even to the Republicans, like a lot of the Republicans are like, wait, what? What's going on? So the California Democratic senator apprehended by law enforcement at the Department of Homeland Security meeting. He was asking a question and he was being rude. He stated his name and title up front, but no one was listening. Is it Alex Polia? So these people, man, he was lunging and bursting and interrupting and raising his voice. That was Kristi Noem straight up lying about it all, creating a scene. She used this phrase, verbally spitting on the law enforcement, verbally spitting on. Hegseth was the one who says, well, he was disrespectful, so throw him to the ground. Oh, Ara, you're such a breath of fresh air, my dear. Everyone is considered a threat if they do not agree with the current admin. It doesn't even feel civilized anymore. No, it's an all out, like, hell hath no fury. The problem for the Trumpster fire is he doesn't realize that not everybody is so fucking afraid of him. There, I said the F-bomb in the first 4 minutes. Who cares? Whatever. Oh my God. He was not elected. He stole the election. People don't want him. And he can't deal with being rejected. Yeah. I hadn't thought about it, but that's the issue when you're running for an election. If you don't win, you feel rejected, and he can't handle the rejection. Oh my God. But I'm really curious what you have to say. This is so cool to see you here. Awesome. How is your life, man? I thought we were supposed to be more civilized than other countries, but I guess we're just the same. So yesterday, the Canadian Prime Minister delivered a indictment for Donald Trump, basically, and it was almost like he was calling on the United Nations to come to the U.S. to save us from Trump. I mean, seriously. I can try to find it and put a link to it in the description because I was really psyched that I caught that yesterday. It was pretty wild. It was just like 5 or 7 minutes. I guess they just want anyone that questions to submit it through a paper and pen. Hopefully, somebody answers it. No, they don't want anyone to have any questions. Everybody is just like, shut up. I don't want to be too straightforward, Ara, but let me just say that everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation and open up a discussion and learn something and be educational. All my videos are made for YouTube. This administration doesn't just want to kill and get rid of people that aren't citizens. They want to do that to people that are citizens. Remember when Trumpster Fire was talking about the homegrowns? Anybody who is not going to just be 1,000% complacent and complicit is not welcome. And we live in a democracy. He's tried to screw it up for a long time. He almost succeeded with that effing insurrection on January 6th. Whoever thought Mike Pence would be my hero for a day, I couldn't stand the man, but now I can stand him. I mean, he stood his ground, and if he hadn't, the whole country would be gone. Seriously. So I live by the border, as you know, and people are afraid to leave their home. Well, they should be afraid to leave their home. I hate to say that, but we all know it's true. I know people are afraid to go to work. People are afraid to go to their immigration status meetings, their appointments, their hearings. And yeah, even going to the grocery store, like I would have my groceries delivered. Seriously, this is outrageous. It's like Nazi Germany. It's disgusting. I wonder if the No King protests were started through Republican channels to arrest even more people, like it's bait. Well, they've been doing the No King protests for a while, so it's not new with the June 14th parade, the birthday party for the big boy, for the freaking man, baby, toddler. So they've been doing the No King things for a while. And right now, you've probably seen on the internet, everybody's pumping out videos to give instructions on how to not escalate and how to de-escalate, how to deal with the contentious situation that we're in. And, power to the people. There's more of us than there are of them. A lot of the folks that are, say, Marines or National Guardsmen, or law enforcement, they're really in a bind because they're not supposed to do anything that breaks the law. And if they're given orders, say, through the president to do things that are illegal and they do it, they can be court-martialed. It'll catch up with them. If they don't do it, it's going to be a very stressful situation. But did you know that they put an ad on Craigslist to try to recruit people to go to this freaking parade in DC on Saturday? An ad in Craigslist. Like, I could just vomit. I've always known intuitively and instinctively that people were paid to go to Trumpster fire events. It's all just a prop show. Like everybody's just for show. I'll put a link in the description to the I've Had It video where they show the actual Craigslist ad. But I'm really curious what you're saying. Today, Trump said he would rethink of deporting the farmers workers. Right, because he has to eat. Suddenly his friends are being affected by this and he is changing his mind. Right, it's affecting the billionaires' businesses. Well, and he's realizing how unpopular he is, that everybody hates him. So, oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for clarifying that. $45 million for a birthday party. It's going to be probably $145 million for the birthday party. Initially, they were saying about 90 million, and then they've rolled it back now to state it at 45 million, but it's going to be way over even 145 million because it's going to break the streets. Those tanks are too heavy for the streets. They've been putting down steel plates with cement or asphalt. They've switched out the padding on the tanks so that it's a softer padding, but it's still, even though it's not going to tear up the streets, the streets will not be able to tolerate the weight of these tanks. There's so many of them, and each one of them is so heavy. I mean, just like the streets can't tolerate the weight of a freaking SWAT car, the Tesla cyber truck pieces of crap. Those things are too heavy for the road. Anyway, there's going to be a lot of damage. So all the construction that they've had to do beforehand, DC has like the worst traffic already. It's like New York or LA. And then afterwards, they're going to have mass construction fixing the roads. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that original ad. You saw it too, the Craigslist ad, Ara. Is that so crazy? And I can't remember. I have to go back to look if they were even offering money. They were offering fast food, and they were particularly interested in recruiting brown and black people. Those motherfuckers, man. If you pay people, they will do anything. Well, yeah, they're going to pay him like $50. Like that was the whole problem with when Trump announced his throwing his hat in the ring 10 years ago, and he went up or down the escalator with Melania. He paid each of those people $50 to be in the audience, to be like clapping as they were on the escalator, ascending or descending or whatever. $50. And then they tried to make it look like it was 1,000 people. It was probably like 50 or 100 people max. He's buying the country. He's bullying the country. Yeah. It's unreal. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Election Truth Alliance is one of these organizations that's been tabulating the election, the votes, the ballots. So they've gotten a bunch of data that demonstrates that something's wrong with the election. And then is it called Rockwell County in New York State that has a lawsuit because it's like a Democratic, the county is mostly Democratic voters. So like 80% or 78% of the voters voted Democrat across the tickets, except for president. Nobody, not one voted for Kamala for president. Not one in the entire county. So that county is moving forward with an investigation. And then you have the Election Truth Alliance, and then you have a few others. There's like 3 of these organizations. And yeah, he's going to go to freaking prison. And that's why he was so desperate to steal the election. And that's why Elon got involved too, is because they both would have been in prison if they didn't do what they're doing. But they're really only making it worse. In the end, they're going to go to prison for longer, in my opinion. And it just can't happen soon enough. It just couldn't happen to a nicer couple. And oh, they're back together, aren't they? They reconciled. Oh, they're so cute together. Okay. So, all of this just to try to get people's minds off those freaking Epstein files. And when Elon made those two posts, the one about the Epstein files and then the one about the election. So, yeah. You know how he's constantly going off about the auto pen? When he pardoned the J6 insurrectionists, he pardoned 1,600 of them approximately on day one. You think he might have used an auto pen for that? Ah. Come here, baby. Coco. Coco. Okay, well, she was scratching at the door. Okay. So, let's see. I'm going to ask you, I don't think I showed this yet. Please hit your like button and make sure you're still subscribed and all that stuff. Share a video of mine with somebody that you think might like it. Then turn on your notification bell to ring. So, have you been doing your videos, Ara? I have been, since the election, I started talking about politics. I think I probably started the day before the election. I'd have to go back and look at my videos. But I hadn't made a video for like 2 or 3 weeks because I didn't want to talk about politics. I wanted to keep it just true crime. And then I just couldn't take it anymore. And I thought, this is what I need to talk about. So I started talking about it. And then I kind of haven't really stopped. Like I kind of blend it all together because I felt like I was at the intersection of politics and true crime. And then it quickly became like a head-on collision. After I got on TikTok, I watch everything. Do you have a TikTok channel or something, Ara? I don't do TikTok. I think it would hurt my brain. Like, social media is hard for me because I'm such an addict. So I get addicted to everything. And TikTok would not be healthy for me. True crime politics. TikTok is an easy source of information, less drama, and I just research more now. Very cool. Yeah. So I like to watch a lot of political channels now. I used to watch no political channels and only true crime. And so I'm having trouble keeping up with my true crime friends because my true crime is the political true crime. And a lot of people aren't interested in that, which is fine. I get it. No problem. I just, I have to go to where my intuition takes me. And I just feel like it's really important to pay attention to what's going on right now. I dare you to download TikTok app and check back in with me in a week. Oh, you're so cute. I double dog dare you. Because yeah, you're probably right. You probably know more than I know. I mean, I've looked at TikTok, but I don't get into it. People send me TikTok videos and I'll watch the one video, but I just keep it at the one. So yeah. But your comment there is kind of reminding me of 15 years ago when I never texted anybody. I don't think I'd ever sent a text in my life 15 years ago. And one friend texted me and I didn't see it for a month. But this was back when they charged you per text too. But then one of my friends who also had kids said, "Oh yeah, once you start texting, you'll never call anybody again." And the thing I would say about texting was like, well, it's great if you never want to talk to anybody. But yeah, I love texting, and I pretty much don't ever want to talk to anybody except my true crime people, my YouTube people. 60% of people are polling that they are not for the military parade. Yeah. I hope it gets canceled. Um, it might even rain on that day, but it's just not cool. You know, my son is active duty in the Navy in DC right now, currently. So I haven't talked to him, but he's probably going to have to be in the parade, I would think. I asked him about it a couple of months ago when it was first being talked about. And when I spoke to him about it, it was the first time he heard of it. And then, it was like on again, off again. It just happens to be on Trumpster Fire's birthday. He's such a sick motherfucker. He's such a sick man. He's so twisted. I mean, he's literally ill. He's got all kinds of medical things going on that he's not admitting to. You can see it in like the puffiness under his eyes. You can see it in how puffy his fingers are. And he's always sitting at that Resolute desk while everybody's like walking around and standing behind him. And then he's always got his hands one over the other. I was talking about it yesterday, and it's always the same hand. So it's the left hand covering the back of the right hand. And what do you want to bet? There's like a bruising from an IV from some treatments that he's getting. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just be transparent, because that's the law. I have to step away, Miss Justice. Maybe I will see you when I get back. Awesome. Thanks for being here, friend. So yeah, I'll just present the material that I have. So cool to see Ara. She's the best. So remember when the sick old man said that he would take credit for all the good stuff in the economy and that all the bad stuff was Biden's fault? It's like he literally said that almost verbatim. I mean, he is a madman gone mad insane completely. So there's this man. Let's just talk about something else for a minute, because my brain is just going to implode from all the crap with El Presidente. Did anybody hear about David Sirkin, a Canadian who just won his fourth lottery jackpot? So he won over $700,000 on May 6th. And let's see. He had his second win. The first time he ever won was 10 years ago. And he won about $180,000. And then he won, I think it was August of 2024 was when he won $365,000. And then November 16th or maybe that's, I'm not sure if that is from 2024 or the year before. I could look it up. But anyway, he also won over $700,000 on November 16th, either this last year or the year before. I think it was just this last year. I want to say that the May 6th win was the third win since August. So he won August 2024, $365,000. And then he won on November 16th, $700,000. And then he just won on May 6th, another over $700,000. But the first time he won 10 years ago, it was about $180,000. What do you want to bet that he has a relative that is rigging it? Like, he's like, oh yeah, statistically, I know the chances are minuscule. It's like, no, not minuscule, impossible. impossible. He's really old too, so I'm thinking that it's probably a family member or a friend that is going to inherit his estate. Billy, darling. Oh, you're so sweet. Ara had to step out, but man, two of my favorite people. Where's Anna Bees? She's always here. Oh, but she might be just getting to work right now. So probably in the first hour on duty, she can't really play around with her cell phone. If I think she probably watches it on her cell phone. It might be on a laptop. How are you, honey? You're in California, aren't you? In Northern California? All that action in Southern California. I'm gonna take this celery out of my mouth because I'm chewing on it like gum. It's just like the end of the celery, the string. Yes, NorCal. Wow, what a freaking bull crap situation today with that senator. You probably heard all about it. The Alex, I wrote his name down. I think it's Alex Podia, the Democratic California senator that was apprehended by law enforcement at a Department Homeland Security meeting. He was apprehended for asking a question rudely. He lunged, he burst, he interrupted, he was raising his voice, creating a scene, verbally spitting on the authorities, according to Kristi Noem, but then she's a lying sack of shit. Padilla, thank you. So I Padilla. See, I have like Podia. And he stated his name and his title up front. And then Kristi Noem went on a rant about how, well, they didn't know who he was. He didn't say who he was. They didn't know that he was a senator. And it's like, well, first of all, you shouldn't have been treating anybody like that, senator or not. And then it was almost funny, not funny, that, yeah, he said exactly who he was and what his role was at the very beginning of the interaction. I watched the footage. No spitting. Well, I think that she said verbally spit on. I think she meant like metaphorically. Verbally spit on. There's like no such thing as verbally spitting on someone. It's freaking nuts. She's nuts. So one of the things that, have you ever watched the YouTube channel called I've Had It? It's really good, in my opinion. So on one of their videos today, they brought up a really good point about Trumpsters, about the MAGA folks, and how for a lot of them, being MAGA is like their only sense of identity. And I was just like, oh my God, that's so spot on. And it's so true. And how sad. I love them ladies. Yeah, I thought you probably would. Senator Alex Padilla. Oh, is it 2 L's? Spelling corrected. Thank you. Awesome. I know. I like to try to spell things right. Michael McAllister, you are here too. This is just like the good old days. What's going on? It's probably because it's evening and I do my videos so early in the day, or like last night I did one really late. I did 2 yesterday, I think. I did one early in the day, but it was short, and then I did a really long one in the evening. Hello, Michael says, hi, Justice and everyone. Great to see you all today. Oh, it is a breath of fresh air to see you guys. Really, my YouTube is my therapy, and I really need it today, big time. And I have my peppermint tea. So I think I'm allergic to bullshit, not even kidding. So I've had this really bad histamine reaction in my intestines from my allergies. This has been like the worst hay fever season in forever. And where I live in the Miami Valley in Ohio is one of the worst places for allergies. So I'm not a very allergic person in general, but this year it's been monstrous. And it made me so sick this last week, like I could barely function. And then I was feeling really good the last 24 hours, but then the toxicity of all this bull crap. I haven't even been watching it that much because it's so toxic. I've been like listening to my music and trying to detoxify myself. I've been going through a lot of things, and great to hear from you too, sweetie. Do you want to share what you've been going through, like emotional, medical? If you want to share, you don't need to, or like your living situation or your job. Ara and Billy. Yeah, Ara had to step away, unfortunately. We had her in here for a while. But we have you and Billy, darling, and 3 others. Cool. Anybody else that wants to say hello? Michael says, yes, I will share. Yeah, I quit my full-time job over a year ago, and I just had a nightmare about it a few days ago. My boss was really abusive. I put up with it because there were a lot of things about the job that I liked, like getting paid. but, but I had this dream about how abusive she was. And when I woke up in the morning, I was like, yeah, she was even more abusive psychologically than I registered. Like I recognized it up front, but she was toxic, another toxic bitch. Anyway, it's business as usual here in Northern California at the moment. Yeah, so it was a really good thing that I quit that job because I had a lot to deal with too that I wouldn't have had time to focus on if I was working. Remember, you guys, I had to be at work. I had to be out of my house every morning at 6:30. So I was always having trouble in our late night lives, like with Shan and Ara or What's the Obsession, because I had to wake up so early. But then I could do some YouTube while I was at work. So that was one of the things I loved about it. I would do my morning live, I would do an afternoon live. And it wasn't, it was not only allowed, it was actually encouraged. So, it was encouraged for me to just um, do my thing. So, and it's not like it's a top secret job, but it's like I can't really talk about it. I mean, it's just unprofessional for one thing, and it's just like not necessary for another. But just privacy is a good thing. Um, I got new tarot card decks. Awesome. I didn't know you did tarot. Another toxic bee. Yeah, there's a lot of them, and normally I won't put up with it, but there were so many things about that job that were really cush. So, having to get there before 7 every morning sucked. But when I got the job, I figured that I could uh, have that be flexible eventually, but nothing was flexible. That was the problem. It was just like her way or the highway. And so I took the highway. I found out from going to renewing my license and found out that I had 3 felony warrants, and I willed to court and paid over $1,000, and I have to take driver's training again. Oh, what a hassle. I'm so sorry. That's a lot of money to have to fork over. Billy says, yeah, I do a little bit with the tarot decks. How long have you been doing that? You know, I've been doing all this yoga training for the last like year and a half, and there's a lot of tarot involved in the yoga training, but I'm more focused on the yoga and of course my chakra tower. And can you see Brian Jones over here or not? Because like on my screen it's covered up by the red rectangle that says live. Oh, but yours probably doesn't have that because that's just me, because I'm the one who's live. Did balcony gardening today, and when neighbor Yippee Dog was yippee, I started singing a cappella and he shut the F up. So sweet. Garden time. That's so funny. Thank you so very much. And I am trying to get my rent money paid for the last few months now. Ouch. That is so harsh. Have you ever seen the movie Rent? It's a musical and it's so good. It's so good. And yeah, it starts out with this group of friends that is like a year behind on their rent. They rent a loft in New York City, so they're a year behind, and they got to pay the rent. It's where who's the actress that did the Frozen movie? You know, that sang the song. What is her name? It starts with an M. It's a really unusual name. And she stars in the Rent. That's where she kind of got her start. Let's see. Rent movie. It's got a really good cast. Let's see. Who's in it? Cast. Idina Menzel. That's where she got her start. But some other folks that you'd recognize their name. Jesse Martin got his start there. Rosario Dawson. And Sarah Silverman is in it. There's a couple other big names. Why am I not seeing them? Anyway, it's really great. The music is great. The story is great. The actors are great. So what's his name? Ty Diggs and Idina Menzel, they got married. That's where they met, was filming that. And then they had at least one kid, but then they got a divorce around the time she did the Frozen soundtrack. So I think they were married for like 13 years. You know, I'm always interested in that kind of thing. So you guys, I don't know if you've caught any of my videos recently, but one of the things I've been hammering away at, and I can't believe that nobody else is talking about it, because I think, in my opinion, it has a lot to do with everything. And that is the fact that Gavin Newsom's ex-wife was engaged to Don Jr. for about 4 or 5 years. And then she was allegedly having an affair with Don Sr. And then she got appointed to be the ambassador of Greece, which is like a joke of an appointment, but it got her away. And now, with all of the pissing contests with Donnie and Newsom, it makes sense why he wanted to get her out of the country. Because just think if she was around while they're going at it with this freaking sword fight of dominating each other. It's crazy. Greece, LOL, but it is pretty. Right. I was saying, I think in my video yesterday, that it's like not knowing much about politics to begin with, I would think, oh, ambassador of Greece, what a great assignment. But to repeat what I said it's kind of like being the ambassador of your toilet, I guess. It's like a joke. They basically deported her, exactly. And what's her name? Kim Guilfoyle. I think she was like a reality TV star before Gavin and her were married. And then she was around the Trump family for a long time, like the last 18 years, pretty much ever since she divorced Gavin. She's been affiliated with the Trump family. And then she got hired, I think, in the 2020 election to be like campaign manager or something like that. And then it was around then that she got engaged to Don Jr. And then I don't know when the affair with his father started, allegedly. If there really was an affair with Don Sr., I don't know. But it's pretty gross. Because there is a, Don Jr.'s ex-wife met him through dating his dad. That's how he met his wife, Vanessa. Come on in, Coco. All right. Hey, girl, you want to come up onto my lap? And I see Ninja is here. I'm so sorry about what's going on in America right now. It breaks my heart. I'm so sorry that the National Guard shot your reporter in the back of the leg the other day, Ninja. I was looking into that, doing some research, and discovered that it's not the first time that a National Guardsman has attacked an Australian reporter with rubber bullets. So back after, like, about a week after George Floyd in Washington, D.C., a different Australian reporter and her cameraman were not only shot by rubber bullets, but just brutalized and attacked. It took 3 years through the court system for it to be deemed use of excessive force. They were actually running away when they were attacked. So it was Lafayette Square where Donald wanted to get a photo op with the Bible in front of the Episcopal Church. And so they were clearing out all these Black Lives Matter protesters, and it became violent. And like I said, they were running away when they got shot with the rubber bullets in the backside and tear gassed. And the guy got punched in the face and hit with like a body shield. And I forget all of the details of her attack, but like both times Australian. I thought that was odd. Here we go. Where is it? Shot, punched, and struck with the baton, the police baton that they call a truncheon. So she was, wait. So a man, no, it was, okay, the guy, Tim Myers, was the one who was shot, punched, and struck with the baton. And then Amanda Brace, the reporter, she was shot and beaten. And tear gassed. Yeah. Hit with the shield, punched in the face. That was the guy. So yeah, I wonder too what kind of blackmailing is going on with Donnie and Governor Newsom. I'm thinking that Kim Guilfoyle, or however you say her name, that if there were any secrets that Gavin Newsom had that she spilled to Don Jr., because blackmailing is what these people are all about. It's just horrible. Absolutely horrible. But let's talk about happier things, right? Spelling of reporters' names, please. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. This was the one in 2020. It was June 1st of 2020. Amelia, I think it's BRACE, I think. Brace. Amelia Brace is the reporter. And then the cameraman's name is Tim Myers, Myers. And so, like I said, it took 3 years to move through the court system and be deemed use of excessive force in 2023. And they testified about what had happened June 1st of 2020 in Washington, D.C., in Lafayette Square. Shot in the leg and the backside when fleeing. Myers was shot, punched, and struck with the baton. This was all for Trumpster Fire's photo shoot, holding the Bible outside of St. John's Episcopal Church. She testified, "I've been shocked to see how many journalists have been attacked, beaten, and detained for reporting." Oh, wow. So they were detaining journalists back then for reporting. I didn't even know that. And I wrote it down, but it didn't even register, because I was like often happens, I was looking for more information about the reporter that was shot in the leg this week. But then I stumbled into this and I was just like jotting everything down, because I was like, what in the world? And this woman was saying that, we're Australia, we're your closest ally, and we consider the USA to be like the world's greatest democracy. And then this is the way they get treated. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, those Marines and the National Guard, I mean, what a horrible situation. Never give up on Kylie. Absolutely. I know. Miss Kylie. Oh, yesterday I was talking about Brian Jones and how he was deceased in a swimming pool, but then, they said drowned, but then they later said died of misadventure. And I was like, well, why don't they change that for Kylie? Because we know she didn't drown. Why don't they change it to died of misadventure? Because we know that that's closer to the truth. Yes. Yeah, and I have been noticing the cases that you've been working on, Ninja, and some of these cases I just can't, all this stuff is just so toxic. And it's like the young girl, the teenager, ugh, disgusting. The Australian one that you've been covering. And then like that guy in Washington State with his 3 daughters. I can't. I'm going to be talking about Kylie more in the future. Always. I'm glad that you are. Awesome. Thank you so very much for never giving up on Kylie. May Rodney's justice. Amen. Yeah, she had her life stolen, and she was stolen from all of us. I mean, it would be like if somebody as talented as, I don't know, let's say Neil Young, somebody as talented as Neil Young, like if he was red rummed when he was almost 17 years old, and we never got to hear his music. I will never give up on Kylie. I know that's how I feel too. You're welcome, Ninja Justice for all. BoobTube has been putting out some major truths lately. Yes, and I've been covering them. There was a video, I think 2 or 3 days ago, where I was like reading all of her posts, all of her community posts, and all of the comments. It was very, very good stuff. Because they still have those parties in the woods over in Truckee. Do they really? And don't you think that there's like that whole Titanic ritual situation with all of it too? Phoebe Bishop. Oh my God, my heart just breaks. I know. Justice for Kylie. Parties are still in the gated communities too. Yeah, for decades now. So why would they suddenly stop? Right. Right. I mean, they think it's how they achieve their success. It's like the sacrifice to Satan, basically, right? It's nightmare crap. I mean, there's a lot of that with the Diddy files. There's a lot of that with the whole elite. We know all about that. It's nauseating, isn't it? As if Sammy will become a neuroscientist. I mean, come on, LOL. Right. If she's a neuroscientist, she could work for Elon with the the Neuralinks. So, you guys, I wanted to talk about the Indian plane crash that happened this morning too. That's so sad. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. It was like 240 lives lost and one survivor. And the plane, I think it was flying from India to London. And I really think all these plane crashes that have happened with this new administration are suspicious. Unless she gives him a baby that he can then abandon. Her family has the money for Sammy to get any degree she wants. Yeah. Yeah. But, she'd just be like these megalomaniacs like Elon and Donnie, that nothing is ever enough. Nothing satisfies. They're just bottomless pits of neediness. They're like black holes, really. Doesn't mean she will be successful, in my opinion. No, it's like an addiction. It's like a drug addiction. I mean, and all three of them are probably addicted to rugs. I mean, we know Elon is. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if Scammy is, and Trumpster Fire too. Yeah, have to pass organic chemistry. It's hard stuff. Excuse me. I need to drink my tea. So I do need to wrap up too. My son is here and I need to help him move some stuff. He's moving out. So sad. He just arrived to get a few of his things. So I'm so happy to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Love and light. Let's keep our spirits up and keep our eyes on the ball and just keep fighting for justice. God bless. Yes, it is devastating to have a child move out too. Even though I've had 2 move out already, it's like it just rips your heart out every time. I'm happy for him and I'm glad that, he doesn't even turn 18 until next month and he's already got a place and everything. But he just graduated high school, so I was like, as soon as you're done with school, you can move out. You don't have to wait until you're 18. Because he has a girlfriend and she has her own apartment. She's 18 and he's moving in with her. So I'm very happy for both of them. And so we just have one living at home. It's crazy. But then in about a week, my 20-year-old son will be here for his 21st birthday and with the baby and his wife. So, all right. Love to you all. And thanks so much for being here. Eat your veggies, eat your protein, and just take really good care of yourself and stay on top of the insanity. Stay ahead of it, right? Congratulations on your new job. Whose new job? I don't have a new job. I almost got a new job recently, but they selected a different candidate. So, oh well. I was excited about it, but I was also kind of worried. So, it works. It works. But oh, my new job as a grandma. All right, Coco, come here, baby. You want to say hi before we log off? Come here. Come here. Come here, Coco. Come here. Can you come up? Come here. Oh, she's going to stay at my feet. All right, you guys, have a great night and see you soon. See you on the next one. Hopefully tomorrow. Love and light. Drink your water, eat your protein and your produce. Coco is doing great.